So I recently finished Hades 2 and I have a few things to say about it. First of all, I like the game, I really like the game as a matter of fact, but when the credits rolled, the only feeling I could have is okay, that's it. Things felt undone in comparison to the first game, and I'm going to try my best to articulate it in the following video. So let's start from the beginning. Hades is a top-down action roguelike developed by Supergiant Games and released in 2020. The game got a sequel just a month ago, Hades 2, after being in early access for the better part of a year. I really like the first game, I really love the first game, it's one of the closest things to perfection. It has an addictive gameplay loop, tight controls, and a world which manages to feel fresh and new, although its setting has been used quite often in the past when it comes to video games. All of these things apply to Hades 2 as well, and then some. My main drawback is the story. In Hades 1, you play as Zagreus, who defies his father and tries to escape from hell in search of his mother, Persephone. The game functions like this: you start your run, you fight enemies, get boons which make you stronger, die because you're trash, and then come back in your father's house, where you can talk with characters, find out more about them, and discover things which will help you on your future runs, like upgrades, keepsakes, new weapons, and so on and so forth. Hades 2 works in a pretty similar fashion, only now you're hunting the Titan of Time, Kronos. Yeah, you can ignore the dialogue, but there are plenty of incantations unlocked by having discussions with characters and using certain keepsakes while talking to specific ones. These incantations aren't necessary to beat the game, mind you, but they are an advantage you lose by not engaging with this part of the game. The problem with the characters in Hades 2 is that the most interesting ones are outside the crossroads, the camp which you revisit upon death. The witches Medea and Circe are interesting and they tie to Hecate and Odysseus pretty well. I really like Narcissus and the mystery between him and Echo. Scylla and her band are basically this game's version of Theseus and Asterius, and I love them. Euphemius is nice and pretty welcoming for a boss fight, dude just wants to sleep. Icarus is great with his past in the crossroads and his potential relationship with Melinoe. Prometheus and Heracles, they're fucking amazing. I don't know why there was so little screen time with them. I just wanted so much more with them. When you fight them together, that might be one of the best moments in the entire game. Absolutely stunning characters outside the place where you usually talk with characters. Here's the way I see these games. You have the runs, which are the gameplay, and the camp / House of Hades, which are the story. The split may be 80-20 at best, but both matter equally in the context of Hades. You should want to talk with these characters, not only to unlock more stuff, which helps you get closer to your objective, but to get to know them as well, to know who you're fighting for and or against. And that's where Hades 2 fails for me. I'm not as interested in talking with these people. Dora is the most interesting one of the bunch and her arc is okay. Hecate comes to a close second, only because you get to see her doubly so as a first boss fight in the game. Odysseus is cool. The Children of Nyx. Ares is all about explosions and chaos. That's it. Moros constantly talks about the weavings of the three fates and the fact that he did not see a specific thing I did in his prophecy after I do the specific thing that he did not see in his prophecy. Nemesis would have worked pretty well if there was more to her than just the envy of the main character and her attempts at being the main character. All three of them are romance options as well, and I'm sorry, but I just don't see it. They feel one note and repetitive. They have their quirks, but that's all they have. And here's another gripe I have with this game. One of the main themes of these games, if not the main theme, is the importance of family. In the camp we have at least 3 Children of Nyx present at all times: Nemesis, Ares and Moros. And Hypnos, but he's always sleeping. These siblings hardly interact with each other, and this doesn't even change post-game. If the main theme is family, why can't we do something to mend the relationship in between them? It would have played great with Zagreus' absence in Melinoe's life. Even in post-game we can see Nyx hanging out with Chaos, which was a side quest in the first game. I don't understand why they didn't expand on it, but I feel like this is a minus on their part. I don't know if this was supposed to be the direction, being that they are the incarnation of Strife, Doom, Retribution, because they receive little to no development. There are moments and they're cute, sure, but I get to the end of the game and nothing feels ultimately changed. I get to the epilogue with a way too complicated method, by the way, and still nothing feels changed. And all of this comes from a design and story problem. Hades being a roguelike, the developers obviously wanted to remain playable after the credits rolled, just like the first game. Only now the context is different. We're not in some squabble with father anymore, we're in an all-out war. The ending doesn't reflect the tone which the game started with. In the first run of the game, Death to Kronos is the chant which sets the tone for the rest of the game. Spoilers for the ending. But after hitting your head against the wall for God knows how long, Zagreus remembered he played the first game and spares Kronos because family is important. And now both him and Kronos have memories of a happy life and happy family, which Melinoe doesn't. She has no reason to spare him except to please his almost stranger brother. Okay, so I didn't think I'll have to make a post edit on my very first video, but the game just got a post-launch update which included additional events leading up to the true ending and revised parts of the main true ending scenes before the motherfucker. Okay, so they modified the ending, so now that everyone has a new set of memories instead of just Zagreus and Kronos, there's more clears needed for the underworld route, and there's more dialogue in which Zagreus kind of protests Melinoe's choice of killing Kronos, which kind of foreshadow the ending, or at least give hint to what's about to happen. It's an improvement, at least for the main story. It's ultimately an improvement. It's kind of weird how nowadays we can get a different story through an update, not a DLC, not a sequel, not a retcon, just an update. Very interesting stuff. And to top it all off, now Kronos 180'd into a sweet grandpa goody two shoes. The change kind of makes sense with him gaining a lifetime of memories in an instant, but it can't help but feel jarring. And things don't necessarily get better for the side characters either. As I previously said, the children of Nyx never solve the issues in between them, or even attempt to do so. Arachne never gets her curse lifted because of her ego. Hypnos just wakes up. I understand when some characters don't wish to change and don't change. It can speak volumes on certain aspects of the human condition, but when none of the characters get even remotely close to a change to their status quo, that's a problem, especially after spending upwards to 50 hours forging bonds with these people and trying to help them, ultimately. Hades 1 felt like something screwed on tight, each part of the game perfectly complementing the other, while Hades 2 feels like something that's been put together using a single glue stick. It falls apart under a stress test. Thing is, I really want to love this game, and allow me to praise it for a moment. The gameplay is a step up in almost every category, making even the most seasoned of veterans coming from the first game have to rethink the way they approach encounters, paying attention to all the tools in their arsenal and their spacing thanks to the enemy's attacks covering more terrain. The biggest rework is the cast, a thing which I've ignored for the most part in the first game, but now it's so essential to my builds, I can't imagine not using it. And the music, my god, the music is incredible. The Erebus theme hyping you up as you start your new run. Getting into Oceanus and hearing the song of the sirens. Skillless band giving us one of the best boss battles in a video game. The reworked Tartarus theme. Going on the surface, the bass in Ephra, center square. Polyphemus' theme and that fucking flute. The triumphant trumpets going off as Prometheus prepares to whoop your ass. This game at its best, it's one of the best games ever made, but I can't help it but feel like a sense of real feedback to our efforts story-wise is absent. The thing is, while I think Hades 2 is a better game than its predecessor, it's also a lesser experience as a whole because of the weak payoff or almost lack thereof in the context of story and characters. That or Too Little Dionysus. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked what you saw, drop a like and subscribe because I have many other games to talk about that I really want to talk about. If you have any thoughts about this game, drop a comment and let me know. I'm really curious about what you think as well, and I can't wait to see you all on the next video. That's it. Cheers.